A solemn anniversary and milestone will be observed this week on board the Battleship Missouri Memorial.
Jonathan Masaki has more on this little-known observance that has had a big impact on relations with Japan.
On April 11, 1945, the USS Missouri was involved with the Battle of Okinawa when a kamikaze pilot slammed his plane into the Mighty Mo's side. This is an actual photo of Setsuo Ishino, a kamikaze pilot, just a few seconds before crashing his aircraft into the U.S. warship. The Mighty Mo was part of the Pacific Fleet as the forces of Japan deployed kamikazes to sea where she was hit. Ishino's plane was destroyed upon impact. The young pilot was killed instantly, his body ejected from the plane, landing on board the Missouri.
Most of the plane just went into the water, the bomb didn't go off, but the pilot's body was recovered.
Michael Carr is the president and chief executive officer of the USS Missouri Memorial Association. He explains what happened in the aftermath of the failed kamikaze maneuver against the Mighty Mo.
In an act of compassion and humanity, the captain of the ship, William Callahan, decided to give that young man a proper burial at sea.
The captain's actions were not met with total acceptance by the Mighty Mo's crew. A tour guide shares what some of the sailors really wanted to do.
So the crew did not agree with this. They wanted to toss the body overboard and be done with it.
But Captain Callahan persevered, believing in his heart it was the right thing to do, even if this fallen warrior was not American. His grandson, Carrie Callahan, says the topic was never discussed with the family.
You know, he as I said, never spoke about this. I think he just thought it was, of course, the right thing to do. Didn't think it was particularly remarkable, perhaps, because, you know, he just did it.
It's a wonderful story of compassion and humanity, even in the midst of the worst battle of the war.
If you could go back in time and perhaps be at that location and be able to acknowledge what your grandfather did, what would you say to him?
I would say how proud I was of him. You know, continue to be. And, you know, it's hard to do something that, you know, there was grumbling amongst the crew. I think not all crew members chose to participate.
Grandson Carrie will be one of the keynote speakers at this week's commemorative ceremony at Ford Island. It'll be a time to reflect 80 years later on this act by his grandpa and why it still has a lasting effect on relations between the U.S. and Japan.
That story, I think, led in great part to the beginning of the partnership between Japan and the United States. And we're still some of the closest partners today. That story got lost because April 12, 1945 was the day Franklin Roosevelt died.
And while the nation mourned the loss of FDR, all eyes were once again on the USS Missouri a few months later. On September 2, 1945, the Japanese surrendered when official documents were signed on the deck of this battleship, with President Harry Truman proclaiming victory over Japan and the end of World War II. Captain Callahan was there. His actions on being the first commander of the Mighty Mo, no doubt, played a big part to bring an end to this worldwide conflict. Jonathan Masaki, Hawaii News Now.